Rosie Jones.
Hello. When I go into a pub and the bouncer says, you can't come in because you're drunk.
What do you think your biological age is going to be?
Around 35.
Are you ready to find out the results of your biological age test?
Yes!
Rosie Jones, your result is... Hello, everyone, and welcome to What's My Age Again. I'm Katherine Ryan. This is the only shirt that fits me right now. And you're listening to the podcast that asks, how old are you? How old is your body? And what do you do to stay young? Today, I'm joined by Rosie Jones. She is a 35-year-old comedian, a screenwriter, and has also graced our small screen as an actress appearing in Call the Midwife, and is about to star in a sitcom she co-wrote called Pushers. She often uses her own experience of living with cerebral palsy in her work, and she's currently on tour with a stand-up show called I Can't Tell What She's Saying, where according to the press release, she will be talking about being single, the pressures of representing huge sections of the population, gravy, and boobs. I'll be talking to her today about some of those things. But what impact has all that work and gravy had on her beautiful body? Like all of our guests, Rosie has given us a sample of her blood so we can test her biological age and find out how she's aging on the inside. And as always, Dr. Nicola Conlon is here to interpret the results. If you want to find out how old your body is, then you can get the test at a 25% discount with the code What'sMyAgeAgain25. Rosie Jones.
Hello.
How does it feel being one of my very favorite people?
I mean, understandable, because I am amazing.
Yeah.
But it is mutual.
Good.
You're one of my favourite people.
Oh.
I adore you.
I know.
I need to say we're filming this on a Monday morning, and I don't get out of bed on a Monday for anyone.
No.
So you are welcome.
Thank you. Though I am about to have 4 children, I don't consider this morning. This is late
Really?
afternoon, early evening, Rosie.
What time did you get out of bed today?
Today, 1, 2, and then finally 5.
Fuck!
Yeah. No.
That's when you go to
No,
bed.
not anymore. We have very different lives.
Yeah.
But you have the skin of an angel. I wouldn't be surprised if your biological age was low.
No.
You got no dick tripping you up.
No dick.
And that is key, I
Yeah.
think, for longevity, vitality.
Yeah. I'm worried because I think what you're seeing right now, as in skin, hair,
Yeah.
that is
Don't forget boobs, body, effervescence.
titties.
Yeah.
That is all the gift of the genes.
Okay.
My nana is Spanish.
Oh.
So I'm like 80% olive oil.
Oh, yeah.
So my DNA is doing all of the heavy lifting.
But this is good. This is good for the test.
I don't feel like I've had 35 years of fucking it up.
No. You are 35.
Yes.
Do you think in our industry about aging as you get closer to your 40s? Do you think it's relevant?
No.
No.
Mind-wise, I've never been happy. I feel like I spent my 20s either pleasing others or worrying that I was too much and not enough at the same time. And I feel like at 30, I went, you know what? I really like myself.
Yeah.
I know that I am a kind person. So as long as I can go through my life and not be mean to people and still do what I want,
Mm-hmm.
that's a happy life. And then looks wise, I really think I'm getting more comfortable in my body, my face. I remember spending so many years dieting, trying to get a flat tummy. And then I saw a photo of myself at 4 years old with a really big belly.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, oh, look, I have literally never had a flat tummy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the boobies and the belly and the thighs, and luckily the gay ladies can't get enough of that. So, yeah, I feel like I'm just getting happier and happier.
Yeah, and I wish a lot more 20-year-old girls, and I know they're like legally women according to a lot of men in Hollywood, but I just think of them as girls. I think you're such a
Yeah,
kid,
yeah,
especially that generation growing up thinking, oh, I need a flat tummy, I need
yeah,
this, I need that,
yeah,
instead of building yourself, building
yeah,
your career, being
yeah,
alone,
yeah,
being, ambitious. And
yeah,
then your 30s hit and you're all of a sudden like, oh no,
yeah,
this is
yeah,
on the way to being
yeah,
happier every decade.
yeah. My biggest realization was that the difference between being a woman and fancying women. So, as a woman, if you said, what do you want to look like? I'd say 5'10", no boobs, no bum, straight up, straight down. Yes, please.
Would you say that?
Yeah, and as a gay woman,
Yeah.
if you say, what do you find attractive? I go, big bum, thighs, something I can cuddle someone uber confident. But it's so weird how I can look at a woman arguably bigger than me
Mhm.
and go, she's fit, yet please come to daddy. But when I look at myself in the mirror, I will go, you fat piece of shit.
You would.
But that is the difference.
Yeah.
How I see myself is what society has put on me.
Mhm.
But what I find attractive is natural.
Yeah. Isn't that sad that like no one's impervious to it? You had all these extra layers that you
Yeah,
think people
yeah,
would worry about if they were in your shoes. You had to navigate things that
yeah.
a lot of people don't, but you still just had the normal girl thing of like, I think I'm supposed to be Christina Aguilera.
Yeah, literally, if in my 20s, if you could say, right, let me change one thing about you, I'd say, belly, get rid of my belly. absolutely forgetting the full-on brain damage. That's
Yeah.
easy, but the tummy, no.
No. Brain damage, if anything, an asset
Yeah,
in pop music.
it helps.
Well, let's talk about that related to not just inflammation in your body, injuries from falling, like different things that might impact biological age, trauma from maybe childhood. Presumably, there was a time in your life when, because I've met your parents, it could not be more amazing. I know you talk about your mom a lot, especially, that you didn't know you had cerebral palsy or you didn't realize anything was different.
No, I think the exact opposite. I always knew it was something we didn't talk about, but it wasn't a big secret. I remember starting school at 4 years old and doing a speech in front of class and going, hello, I got cerebral palsy. I talk slowly, but I'm just like you. And I remember actually I couldn't walk, not because physically I couldn't, but I think at 4 years old I couldn't be asked. I knew I could get everywhere on my bum.
Yeah.
And I remember when I got a place at a mainstream school, I said to my mum, okay, I'll walk now on my terms. So that always gave me the confidence of going, I'm different, but I'm okay with it. Get on board with my difference or fuck off. And that's carried me throughout my life.
Yeah.
I think CP is the biggest bullshit detector. 'Cause even now there's people who don't want anything to do with me or underestimate me or patronize me.
Do you mean like people online, people that you meet socially, people in a work setting?
Yeah.
Oh.
All.
Really?
And it's interesting back to the difference between my 20s and my 30s. I carried a lot of guilt in my 20s, and when someone treated me badly, I would go, oh no, I made it awkward for them, or always not their fault that they don't know about cerebral palsy. And in my 30s, really getting to grips with what ableism and discrimination is. I go, no, that's on you. Educate yourself. Don't treat me like a lower class citizen. It's like the classic one is when I go into a pub and the bouncer says, you can't come in 'cause you're drunk.
But you are, though, as well, Rosie.
I usually am arsehole.
This is you just not being asked to walk again. You're like, I'll just shuffle in on my bum.
Don't worry,
Yeah.
I'm here. Now, in my 20s, I will go, oh, no,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm not drunk, I got sleepy. And sometimes I would say, no, I'm here, and my friends would shuffle off
Yeah.
to another pub. It happened to me 2 weeks
It
ago.
happens to you all the time, doesn't it? And with drivers not
Yeah,
picking you up.
yeah.
Okay, what happened 2
So
weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, I was riding in Soho. We had a great day, so we went for a 5 p.m. Friday beer. So, context, he should have known. 5 p.m. This woman is with one friend. Let's not assume that she's totally intoxicated. And they met me with such anger that I said, I got cerebral palsy. I'd like to speak to your manager. And I would not
Good for
leave
you.
until the manager came, who profusely apologized, invited me in, and I calmly said, no, thank you. This experience has been traumatic for me, but I wanted you to know that your employees need to be trained accordingly to deal with a spectrum of disabled people. So just having the confidence to stand my ground and go, this is now beyond my 5 p.m. beer. This is about educating non-disabled people to understand our community more.
And I think when you describe yourself as coming up with that understanding that you don't have to tolerate ableism, you certainly shouldn't feel like you're not enough, or guilt or grief or trauma and all these things. I think you were coming up in that self-confidence at the same time as society was really starting to have these conversations. You have either coincidentally become well known at that time, or really been one of the people in the UK anyway, in the driver's seat of that, fueling that awareness.
Like both can be true at once.
Yeah.
I consider myself to be, on one hand, very lucky, because I do not think I would have had the career I have now if I started 10 years ago. And I also say I will not have the career I have now in any other country in the world. That's a combination between how other countries see comedy, but also how other countries see disability. So time-wise, I'm lucky, but I will never say it's all down to luck.
No.
It's a combination between working very fucking hard knowing the industry from my background in TV, but also, and I say this tongue in cheek, but I always say I look disabled, I sound disabled, but in terms of how much I can work, I'm capable of doing those 16-hour days. Our show, our order, I host a double record.
Mhm.
So that is a 14-hour day, and the sheer truth of disability is that we get more tired
Mhm.
than non-disabled people, and then I don't blame the TV industry, but if I had said on our show, I'm physically incapable of doing double records, I worry that they would say, "We love you, Rosie, but we simply cannot afford to only film one
Yeah.
episode a day." So it's also my ability to push my body in a way that a lot of disabled people cannot do.
And I know that you're a firstborn daughter, and I know that you speak about your work ethic in a prideful way.
Yeah.
But do you think sometimes, not just with regards to the glycanage test that you took before coming in and your biological age and the lack of recovery, you're also on tour with I Can't Tell What She's Saying. And we all know as touring comedians that that schedule is relentless. Do you think this is an extension of when you were in your 20s and you'd shuffle off when you get denied from the bar and be like, oh, I shouldn't have made them feel bad? Because I know several able-bodied men who will only do a 7-hour day just
Yeah.
because that's all they want to do, or a trailer has been built behind the studio that they can smoke cannabis in.
Yes, we all know that.
Do you know what I mean? So there are people who unapologetically set boundaries, and I don't even disagree with those boundaries because those are two examples of men who really perform well, and I think I think they're good value and they're
Yeah.
rested and they're happy. But do you think you'll get to a place in your career where you afford yourself the same thing, or are you going to keep doing 16-hour days until you drop dead?
I want to really pass this question back to you
Yeah.
because both examples are men, and I do worry that, yeah, I still need to push myself.
Mhm.
I still need to do these crazy dates, and I think it's that aspect is less me being disabled and more being a woman.
Do you think?
Do you feel like that?
Or maybe both. I think there are layers of, um, being in a minority demographic that stack.
Yeah.
So woman is one, but disabled woman is probably another, and then queer woman might be
Yeah.
another. A black woman,
Yeah.
non-white.
Yeah.
You might come to the table with
Yeah.
something to prove.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe
Well-
disability and women are interchangeable. Maybe
Yeah.
they stack.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just the way you're born, because Jimmy Carr, very successful, white, hardworking man, he's that way as well. And
yeah.
he's neither queer nor disabled that I'm aware of.
But if I legitimately said, smoking cannabis helps my performance. On that one order, will you set up a van outside? I don't think they would.
Well, what you'd actually have to do is just smoke cannabis on set
Yeah.
until they have a crisis meeting and they decide to build you a
Yeah.
van to smoke cannabis in outside.
I don't
No.
think they would.
I think they would, Rosie. I'd be on your
Shall we
side.
try
Let's do
it?
it. No, serious. Rosie needs to take ketamine
Yeah.
somewhere in the
Yeah.
studio.
Every 10 minutes.
I guess we don't know if it would work for us because we don't try. We're still just at that
Yeah.
place where you go, oh, I'm very lucky to be here and I'm going to work
Yeah.
hard.
It's sorry,
Go
I
on.
can talk forever. But on that note, I a few years ago worked with an American man
Mhm.
with cerebral palsy, and he absolutely blew my mind because first of all, he would show up an hour late to all meetings. He wouldn't come wearing shoes. He would always look quite unkept. And at lunchtime, he would order either soup or noodles or something that he would chuck around. I would get soup in my hair. And that's, I think you've hit on something before. I don't know if it's because I'm a woman, oldest daughter or British, and that I was in awe of him. Because I was like, he's just doing what the fuck he wants. And it made me sad that I never ordered soup in a restaurant because I go, well, soup would be nice, but I might drop it and my hair might go in it. And I think in my life and my work, I always assess how other people will feel in a way that he was just going through life doing what the fuck he wants.
He sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And so you've always been in a state of hypervigilance, assessment, being too much while being not enough, which I've never heard anybody describe before, but I can see that.
Yeah.
Yes. Really academic,
Yeah.
a leader in your family.
Yeah.
When did you know that you were different in the comedy sense? Like, did you have aspirations of being an engineer for a bit? And then you went, nah, always.
Well, I always use comedy in my private life. Comedy.
You have a private life?
No, I tell everyone everything.
You do, yeah.
I would always be the joker at the pub, and it would always be my defense mechanism because it was like, yeah, I'm different, but A, don't assume I'm not aware, and B, being disabled is a boring part of me. How about I tell you a joke and we move on from the awkwardness? A alongside that, I grew up loving comedy, watching telly, loving panel shows. So when I went to uni, I knew I wanted to work in TV.
What'd you go to uni for?
English,
Ah.
because I've always written,
Mhm.
and someone said to me then, which is only 2008, do you want to be a stand-up? I would say, well, no, because I couldn't how I talk that because panel shows at that time,
Mhm.
apart from myself, it was the white, straight, non-disabled, fast talking, quite aggressive
Yeah.
man, and I still stand by how if I was on Motley Week at that time, I
Mhm.
would have got annihilated because no one would have made space for me to talk.
They might have. You felt like they wouldn't, but I get what you're saying. The
Mm,
cadence when it was
yeah,
Russell Howard, Frankie Boyle,
yeah,
like when it was
yeah,
it would
yeah,
have definitely been a gear shift for
yeah,
people.
yeah,
But I think it still was when you started,
yeah,
and still is, because I know you've spoken about abuse that you get online,
yeah,
and some of that again comes when you're from any visible minority
yeah,
demographic. But I didn't realize the vitriol until I was included on posts with you. And then I was like, whoa, the
yeah,
trolling that you get, the anger that really confuses me. Like people
yeah,
are really
yeah,
upset. I think that they are forced to recalibrate
yeah,
what they
yeah,
know. And so you still are
yeah,
very different in those arenas, but you've
yeah.
made space for yourself.
That's it. And again, I think that came with time of
Yeah.
working behind the camera and seeing just a tiny little rosy shaped
Mhm.
hole that I thought if I just squeeze into that, I can make space for someone like me. And in some respects, it's got better over time. Like, I'm talking about it a lot because it's what we did, but our comedy show, out of order, me being the host, means that I can set the
Yeah.
tempo, I set the rules, and you all join me on that ride, and that's the best thing I've done on TV because I'm not fitting myself into something that was never created to accept someone like me. But yeah, like you said, the combination of me getting a bigger platform, me becoming a more vocal political
Mhm.
person, and the world as a whole becoming more vitriolic has meant that my online abuse has grown and grown and grown, and through therapy, through amazing friends, through protecting myself, coming up not really using
Oh, we've
Facebook.
all come off X. That is
Yeah.
a cesspool now.
That is now manageable, but they're still out there.
Does it affect you? Because I think a lot of people speak historically about school. They'll go, oh, this happened in school. This girl was mean to me in school. But I feel like you would have the opposite experience where I'm sure when you started school and you were very vocal about like, hi, I'm Rosie, I'm 4 years old, I have cerebral palsy, fine. And your mother instilled this confidence. You probably weren't bullied in school
No,
anywhere near what
Yeah.
you face day to day, like in
Yeah.
your back pocket on your phone. You wake up in the morning and how does that affect you?
You're right. In school, I remember one comment with a boy who said to me, "You got a funny walk." And I looked at him and went, "Yeah, I do. Have they got anything else to say?" And they went, no, no. And at school, because you're dealing with other kids, it was very one note that I could just meet them and diffuse it. But yeah, I feel like I'm going through a weird stage in my life, especially because I've had 2 specific incidents in the last month where a man has come up to me in real life and not abused me, but told me that he doesn't like me. Or there was a man at a gig recently who said he had come specifically to heckle me.
To your tour?
It was a London gig.
Oh,
To heckle me because he and the lads have a WhatsApp group where they mock me. So we thought it would be funny to video me. And he said, "But you started, and you're quite funny." No fucking shit, you absolute dickhead.
oh my God.
So because of the real life incidents and as I say what's happening in the world right now, I am on my guard.
Quick fire, and then we're going to bring out Dr. Nicola
Okay.
Conlon. What I've ascertained so far is you're on your guard a lot. You exercise a lot of vigilance,
Yeah.
assessment.
Yeah.
I think that even though you're tough and strong, you leave little time for recovery. You work too hard. And some of these experiences, especially lately, as you become more noticeable, feel like they could increase your inflammation, which is bad for the test.
Yeah.
On the plus side, you're probably the most successful you've ever been and rising. Are you in a fulfilling romantic relationship, Rosie?
I am. I'm very happy. She's very lovely.
She is.
You've met her.
I like her.
You are the only person who says you're great together, but you do look like sisters.
I think you guys do look alike, which is cute, which is very cute. Now that I know Spanish, I will rethink it.
Yeah.
But you guys do. You have like similar coloring, just both like very smiley. Sometimes I don't trust lesbians because you guys move fast.
To be fair, we've been dating 6 months and we're not married yet.
All right.
So we're doing well.
I thought that you would be. That's why I wanted to
Yeah.
check in. Okay. I know that you exercise, and it's different from this whole flat tummy thing that you talk about in our toxic girl band generation. You just go to the gym to be strong.
Well, now I have a PT
Yeah.
that comes to my house, which is a game changer for me because I've always found gyms toxic and there's no place for me in there. So the fact I can do weight training and food up my guns at home and shout out to Ben is a very good PT.
Okay. So this seems like it's going well for you. Your parents are very active and young, and you
Yeah.
have so many wonderful friends and interpersonal relationships.
Yeah.
What about your lifestyle, though, Rosie? Because I know you like to party.
I do.
Yeah. So what are you eating? What are you drinking?
So I drinking, I think I cut down a little bit. There was a time a few years ago that I was drinking every day.
I loved those times.
And my problem with all types of addiction, mainly alcohol and gambling.
Gambling?
Yeah, is I'm just amazing at it. Like, I would spend like 12 hours in the casino, which is bad. I know it's bad, but I will come out 2 grand up.
Yeah.
And my problem with drinking is I'm not so anymore, but I could drink 8 pints, go home, get up at 5 a.m. and do a full day filming.
Yeah.
So I'm not an 8 pints a day girly anymore.
Okay.
But because I work so hard, the days that I'm not working, I do love a wine. I do love a cocktail. I can't be bothered with jewelry, shoes. I spend my money on food and drink and treating my friends. So, yeah, I would say I eat out a lot. I go for nice cocktails.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that way
Okay.
I'm a bit worried.
What do you think your biological age is going to be?
So I'm 35.
On the
I think
surface.
it's up.
Up.
I think it's 40.
Rosie, are you ready to find out the results of your biological age test?
Yes!
Performed by Glycanage and to be interpreted by our resident science lady, Dr. Nicola Conlon. Nicola, you've been listening backstage.
I have been, yes.
Rosie, you're a complex woman. You got old, spending 12 hours in a casino,
Yeah.
being abused online, and sometimes motivating people to come abuse you to your face.
Yeah.
A lifetime of drinking, but a really good attitude and a PT.
And that's what matters.
Yes. What's it going to be? Rosie Jones, your result is 37, just 2 years older.
No. Oh, I am happy with that.
Very good.
I'm so
It is.
happy with that.
Do you know I am decades older than my chronological age? Decades.
How old?
Well, 77 was the worst result. Yeah.
Really?
So
Why?
I don't know. It's not fair. Nicola, explain.
Well, we know that yours has a slight autoimmune
Yeah, but
element
Rosie
to
falls
it.
over sometimes. She could have some
Yeah.
inflammation from that.
That's something we didn't talk about. And sorry, quickly to get on my little bloody high pony. Cerebral palsy is so interesting because it's the only long-term condition that after 18 you don't get regular checkups
Oh, yeah.
for the NHS. So I literally haven't seen anyone regarding my CP for nearly 20 years.
Wow.
So I did wonder whether me falling over once a week had an impact to my body, but it sounds like I'm doing okay.
Yeah, it definitely does. And when I were interpreting your results, and I had to little look at any research about, cerebral palsy and biological age, and there wasn't anything out there, but there was quite a bit of research showing that it can have people with cerebral palsy can have higher levels of inflammation. But in your case, this definitely doesn't suggest that. But I really think it's because everything that you're doing in your lifestyle, maybe not the everyday drinking.
She takes days off now.
She takes days off, that's
to
fine.
do a 16-hour work shift and then back on the pints.
But a lot of it was to do with if people are unable to, physically do exercise and they're a lot more sedentary, then that can increase inflammation and push the biological age up. But I think everything that you're doing is just meaning it's the opposite. So it's a really good result. Yeah, really good.
Anything in the minutia of the results, sometimes Dr. Conlon can see perimenopause is on the way, or I think you might be secretly smoking.
I didn't see anything like that. The only thing, which was more of looking at your lifestyle questionnaire and some of the things you've spoke about, is kind of that it sounds sometimes that you may kind of burn the candle at both ends. And we do know how important it is to have a little bit of rest. And especially with your tour coming up, I was going to ask you just what do you do to try and switch off? Because I imagine for both of you, if you're doing late nights and then you're finishing late, and we know, it can upset circadian rhythm, and that's really important for biological age. What do you do to kind of try and wind down? Because I didn't hear much winding down.
No, that's an age-old question. And it's something I'm so aware of. But, like I said, I'm in a new relationship, and that is something that I am bloody loving emotionally. I've never been happier. But for example, last week I came off the back of 6 tour dates. I was away all week. I got back to my house, I unpacked, I packed another bag, I was in my flat for 10 minutes, and I was off to my girlfriend's house. And then that week I felt so tired that I was like, oh no, I need to have maybe stayed at my house, read a book, chilled out. But when you're in that exciting new part of a relationship, you're a little bit like, why would I
Yeah.
spend time on my own when I could see my favorite person?
And that feels young.
Yeah.
It feels
Yeah.
so young to be in a nice new relationship. I think that's a positive indictment of your biological age. The fact that you're like, I got to get over there.
Yeah.
How young do you feel, would you say, if you had to put a number on it?
That sounds so boring, but I literally feel 35 because in terms of my confidence, who I am, I'm touch wood, I'm not in any pain. I can physically do everything I want to. So yeah, I definitely feel the confidence of being in my 30s, but I'm not a creaky little lady yet.
Would you like to get your biological age down? Because there are probably things that you could add, supplements, like things, I don't know.
Yeah, I think really it's continuing with all of the exercise you do, and I think for you that's really important. And then also like diet, like what's you mentioned that you like to eat out a lot. Is that is that like going to McDonald's? I don't know, like what sort of
No.
what sort of food?
They don't have
good
Prosecco
food?
at McDonald's.
I'll start with the bad. I love fried chicken.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's
If
nice.
I walk past a Morley's, you best be sure I'm getting some spicy wings. But that's not an everyday thing. I think for me, eating out is a necessity of my job and my disability. So, for example, because I'm an absolute prick, usually during the day I will work from a members bar and I'll have like a salad.
Edamame.
So I'm always eating out, but we're not talking shit all day, every day.
On tour,
that's good to hear.
service stations.
On tour, you know, it's a lot harder, but again, I always go for like a Leon or a sandwich.
Are you eating plants? Nicola wants you to have 30 plants a week. She talks all the time about 30 plants a week.
30.
30 plants.
Yeah. How many?
30?
Yes. It's not as bad as you think.
She's a stegosaurus.
It's over a week, and it's not just salad leaves or veg. It's fruit, vegetables, nuts, seeds. Anything from a plant. So it could be, lentils, legumes. Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think I do that.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I love veg. That
good.
would
Good.
always be my go-to side order. I'll have like broccoli, courgettes, anything green.
Great.
Yeah, maybe not 30, but I'm on like 2 or 3 a day.
And how much do you sleep?
Oh, okay. So that's a bit to work on.
More than you.
Yeah.
Again, that's a problem because I'm a very good sleeper. On the days that I do not need to set an alarm, I could. In the past, I've done 13, 14 hours.
Nice. Very good.
But usually, a normal day, I get up at like 7, so I think I'm on 6 or 7 a night. But I always feel like I need
A
more.
little bit more.
So you load up.
Yeah.
You'll have
Yeah.
like a 14-hour
Yeah.
night when you get a day off.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
you're sort of breadcrumbing throughout the
Yeah.
week. You'll have fried chicken if you do walk past
Yeah.
the spicy
Yeah.
wings place, but then you're having Padron peppers in a members bar.
Yes.
Okay. Do
Yeah.
you think not having a man in your life is good for aging?
For women, it
Yeah.
can be, but it depends how fulfilling the relationship is. But it sounds like you have an
it's
amazing
very
relationship. So
fulfilling.
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's important. And that when you were talking earlier about that decision between do I stay and sleep or do I go to my partner's house, it's like you're going there, and that's probably de-stressing you, and we know that. So it's sometimes you can't do everything, and it's trying to pick the things that you know make you feel most fulfilled, because in the
Yeah.
long run, that is going to be helpful.
What do you see yourself doing in the future? Do you think you might sidestep into politics at any point? Or are you political enough?
No, but I really think I can make more of a difference in the job I have now without getting swept up in the politics of politics. I absolutely love what I do, so more of the same, but less.
Yeah.
So the dream would be to tour every 3 years, to have a book out every other year, to act in a TV show every few years. So never to give anything up, but just to have more time to spend reading, sleeping, relaxing, and being with the people I love.
Thank you, Rosie. Thank you to Rosie Jones, today's guest on What's My Age Again. If you'd like to see Rosie on stage, now's your chance. She's currently on tour with I Can't Tell What She's Saying. Thanks so much for listening. Please check out our socials, and don't forget to check out our bonus episode, Dr. Nicola's Second Opinion, and that answers all your questions about biological age.